Welcome back. Now, a high-stakes meeting is about to take place between U.S. President Donald Trump and his Chinese counterpart, Xi Jinping. This will be the first time in the American statesman's second term that the two will make physical contact, and the big question on everyone's lips is, will it bring an end to the trade war? David Monyae, director of the Center for Africa-China Studies at UJ, joins us with his assessment. Prof, thanks so much for your time this afternoon. Maybe let's start with your reading on the current state of relations between US and China ahead of that all-important meeting. Are we looking at a de-escalation or just a tactical pause in the long-term standoff?
My own take is that this is more likely to be a tactical retreat, more from the US than China, because when you look at it, markets are reacting positively all over the world. And I think there's a realization in White House that the tariffs, particularly with China, are not working. And therefore, I think a number of achievements will be made anyway under this framework. It's more of a framework agreement. But I think the meeting with President Xi Jinping to have agreed to meet face-to-face with President Trump, it appears, my understanding of the Chinese side is that there must be a lot of agreements reached already.
And do you think China's control over rare earth minerals has become one of its biggest leverage points?
Yeah, it's not just the rare earth. Rare earth, I think, is playing a critical with 60 to 70% control of the entire value chain. I think it gives Beijing a leverage, but far beyond that is that China is no longer the China of Donald Trump's first administration. It's a complete change China. I think throughout the time of Joe Biden in White House, China has been shifting its trade more to the global south, so lessening its trade with the US as well as most of Western countries. And therefore, China is now increasingly have a leverage as well as increase in its technology advancement, and it is giving it an upper hand as it becomes less and less dependent on the US.
Another pressing issue has been that of Taiwan, and Trump hinted that Taiwan could come up during the talks. Do you expect anything substantial out of that?
I think looking at Trump, everything is transactional. Chances are high that he might pull back from this hard-hitting approach that the Biden was taking on over the Taiwan question, and in which the United States had said should China move into Taiwan, they will defend it militarily. I think there might be a pullback to the agreement of 1979, which is United States going back to the original agreement that it recognized the mainland China as the sole one China policy that all of us across the developing world follow.
And looking at Washington's standpoint at the moment, how do you expect Trump to handle the Ukraine-Russia war? We do know that China has very close ties with Russia, especially when it comes to Russian oil as well.
President Trump is more likely to press on President Xi Jinping on key front. One is Ukraine, more not in terms of punitive measures, but more of influence and trying to have President Xi Jinping to prevail on President Putin and to achieve peace in Ukraine, as well as draw President Xi Jinping reaching out to North Korea, another hotspot that the United States is handling at the moment.
And Trump not just meeting with Xi Jinping, he has led, meetings with leadership from other Asian nations. What have you made of some of those new deals that have been sealed, agreements with Malaysia, Vietnam, as well as Thailand? There's also been, some constructive engagements with Japan's new prime minister. Do you think Trump is trying to, strengthen economic ties across Asia in a way that counters China's growing influence there?
Indeed, but using a different approach. It's no longer a situation in which the Democrat presidents have been moving to South China more, away from the Middle East, and militarily confronting China. It appears to me that President Trump in particular is reaching out to the new prime minister in Japan, South Korea, and all other partners to do few things. One, to pay for the deployment of U.S. troops in the region or countries.
Okay.
Number two, to buy more weapons from the United States, as well as to lessen the U.S. direct defending these countries. I think the focus is going to be more in Latin America, as we see, with endless killing of the so-called drug shipments in that region. I think you're going to see a lesson of your direct approach confronting China, more in a much more measured, and ensuring that these countries, they can protect their own region.
Yeah, so we wait in anticipation for what's to come out of that meeting. Prof, thanks so much for your time and sharing your insights with us this afternoon. That was David Monyae, Director of the Center for Africa-China Studies at UJ.